It's been a whirlwind with early access reviews and the character creator demo, but the developers of InZoi have responded to some top concerns and questions about their game. Now, these answers come from their official Discord channel as well as a Twitter account. Do note there actually was a big InZoi fan account and some people thought it was official, so it's important to keep that in mind. Now, the first question stems around that character creator demo. Some people felt that there weren't as many options as there could have been, especially when it comes to body customization. InZoi is still in the development stage and there are many areas that need to be improved. Especially we are facing some technical challenges when it comes to adjusting body shapes. We are truly sorry that we are not offering the full function at the current stage. We fully understand the importance of this feature and we will try our best to bring a much improved version next time. Personally, I think that was a fairly professional response, and obviously this doesn't give us very many details about what the improvements will entail, but they do at least seem open to making changes and adjustments further along, so if you did think it was a little bit too limiting, you might be able to look forward to some changes. The other thing they addressed were bugs and crashes that people did actually experience with this character creator. Now keep in mind there's a variety of reasons people could have experienced this, but they did actually do a hot fix. Now of course we all prefer there were no crashes at all, but honestly game development is messy, especially at this stage, so at least hopefully they got most of those issues addressed. At the end of this video I will show you some of the bug reports. They actually have a place in the Discord channel where you can report bugs with their character demo. Another concern that was raised was the limited amount of languages. They did say the game's language localization will be expanded as the game progresses in development. One of the biggest features of InZoi, of course, is the amount of customization, and this is coming from many areas, from a color wheel to, of course, AI generated textures and even an in-game prompt for AI generated assets. Now, the hot topic around that aside, they have actually addressed a concern with uploading creations and the sense of authorship. Today's topic addresses the sensitive issue of properly designing authorship for created assets. This is, of course, to ensure that the author's credibility does not get lost in the process of their asset being distributed. But they did come up with this list of guidelines. Uploading an original asset to Canvas designates the current player as the author, and the designation is bound to the asset. The only type of asset that does not receive this designation is a customized room of a house. When uploading a full preset, the authors of each part will be displayed alongside the author of the full preset. Downloading an asset and editing it does not change the author. Now, unfortunately, one of the biggest topics, in my opinion, that InZoi needs to answer is about monetization. And of course, this is true of any simulation game that's coming out or any game in general. But for InZoi, we still have to wait for this answer. There is no price for the game as of right now, and we still don't have any information to my knowledge of monetization. I am not perfect, but I promise if I do find something out, I will let you know. Now, as it relates, of course, to people actually being able to play this, they did, of course, reach out to specific influencers, and that, of course, is the discrepancy. But keep in mind, if you are still interested in InZoi, there will be an early access for everyone. Now, what I want to touch upon next, honestly, I don't see as many people talking about it, but I think it was very important to bring up. They talk about the city customization options, and honestly, I think this is one of the biggest selling points of this game. In fact, I'm not gonna lie, I think this would be good to have to some extent for other games as well. Maybe not the same factors, of course, but just being able to control more elements of your world. Accidents, animals, dreams, the ability to scale up or down things like how clean your city is, how often fires occur, the rate of crime, and I just think this is excellent for a game perspective because you can really customize your game if it actually does have meaningful impact to really feel like something you want to play, and also mix it up. However, there is some concerns with this. As the developer states, however, adding more controls also adds to complexity, the way the simulation is run, and sometimes creates unnatural or exaggerated outcomes. It can also make it so that when a player makes an adjustment to one element, all the other elements overshadow the adjusted element. This is actually really interesting. I actually like that they're opening up about this potential problem. What do you think? Is having more controls for city stability something we want? I don't really think adding additional things on top of what they already have would actually help that much. I definitely think this is a the diminishing returns. But let me know if you have a different opinion about this. Is there another control you would like to see? One thing I am curious about is travel between worlds. If you are able to travel between worlds, then something like a population control where certain Zois are in certain worlds could be something that I think they should consider. But that aside, I don't know they should add too much. I think it might get a little bit cluttered, overwhelming, and like they said, it might kind of take away the impact from some of these elements. I personally would rather start with fewer elements and have them very impactful rather than just have a bunch of elements that don't impact the game very much. But on its surface, it's definitely an intriguing idea. And with build mode, it's the same sort of debate on how much do we want to limit the player and how much do we want it to be open. Here we have the debate on if there should be a limit on how many floors you can have. As the developer states, when you have multiple floors in your home, you have to consider, of course, furnishing all those floors. Now, I wouldn't be too worried about that, but then here's the kicker. That takes a huge toll on how the game performs. Now, with this game, I think performance is going to be key and it's going to be tricky. Now, I'm not talking about someone trying to play this game with below minimum specs, but of course, optimization is important regardless. And still, even with the best optimization, there is going to be some limits here. Here, they said they were aiming for potentially a limit of 4 floors. Now, I am not a builder, and I do see there are some limitations to this. I think that is reasonable for standalone, at least for now, but they did say they understand people want to have creative freedom and to be able to build as much as they want. They could in fact do that and have a wording and say performance may suffer. But as they said, what worries me is that if we do not set that upper limit, we're going to get lots of performance drop concerns. Now, that last paragraph though on the first statement here is kind of interesting because we want to cater to a wide range of computer specifications to as many people as we can. And there's been a big debate about this on Twitter. If you do want me to do a video about that, let me know in the comments below because it wouldn't just apply to InZoi. This is a bigger debate in the community, often about lower specs for more people or higher specs. Now, as promised, rounding this all up, they do actually have a bug reports on their Discord. I do think these were mostly about, of course, the character creation, but it is kind of interesting to see what people are reporting. Some people were not as excited about the textures that were being presented, especially the AI generated ones. Some people were having trouble with presets disappearing, screens glitching, and characters disappearing, some clipping issues, which is not surprising for a game this early in development, and something of course I did notice in various videos. Also some issues with skin colors resetting and changing randomly. Apparently a playtester who got early access did have some problems after a cutscene. There's issues with filters, Zoi with missing limbs, and as always, it's hard to tell how many were actually widely experienced, but in short, this is pre-early access, so yes, there are going to be bugs. Do they need to be addressed? Of course. So all in all, I definitely think this was all interesting to hear about what the developers are thinking. As always, please take care, and I'll see you in the next one.